Nathan stood at the bottom of the staircase, arms crossed, watching Emily zip up the last of her designer suitcases. The soft click of the zipper echoed through their once shared bedroom, a sound that marked the finality of their marriage. She turned to face him, her lips curled into that familiar condescending smirk. "You'll be fine," she said casually, as if discussing the weather. "I just need more." More. That word lingered in the air between them. More money, more attention, more status. Always more. Nathan had spent years giving her everything, yet in the end, it had never been enough. Through the bay window, the gleaming black Audi idled in the driveway. Ryan was waiting, probably checking his watch, eager to whisk away the woman who had convinced herself she was upgrading her life. Nathan studied her face, the way she barely glanced at him as she reached for the suitcase handle. He could feel the satisfaction radiating off her, the victory she believed she'd won. She thought she was stepping into a world of luxury, a better life with a wealthier man. What she didn't know was that her new life was already on the verge of destruction. Nathan had done his homework. He knew Ryan's weaknesses, knew exactly where to strike, and he had no intention of letting Emily waltz into a fairy tale ending while he was left in the ruins of her betrayal. "Goodbye, Nathan," she said, brushing past him with that same infuriating air of dismissal. He didn't reply. Instead, he simply watched as she sauntered out the front door, down the steps, and slid into Ryan's car without hesitation. No last look back, no regret. Just the self-assured confidence of a woman who believed she was untouchable. The moment the car pulled away, Nathan exhaled slowly and reached for his phone. A single message, a single move to set everything in motion. It's time. His lips curled into a smirk of his own. Emily thought she had won, but the game had just begun. Nathan sat in his dimly lit office, the glow from his laptop casting sharp shadows across his face. A glass of whiskey rested untouched on his desk, the amber liquid reflecting the light of the screen. His fingers moved with practiced ease, scrolling through files, reading, absorbing. Every piece of information he uncovered tightened the noose around Ryan's perfect little world. Ryan Calloway was not the untouchable businessman he pretended to be. Beneath the expensive suits and flashy cars was a man playing a dangerous game. One that Nathan had every intention of turning against him. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. He didn't need to turn around to know who it was. "Any updates?" he asked without looking up. Ethan Grayson, Nathan's longtime friend and an investigator with an impressive track record, walked in and set a manila folder on the desk. "You're going to love this." Nathan flipped it open, his eyes scanning the pages. Tax fraud, financial mismanagement, a questionable offshore account under a woman's name that was not his wife. He let out a low whistle. "Damn, this guy's an even bigger fraud than I thought," Ethan chuckled. "Oh, it gets better. Turns out our boy Ryan is already walking a tightrope at work. He's been using company funds to finance his extracurricular activities. If his boss gets wind of this, his whole career is toast." Nathan leaned back, exhaling slowly. "So all we have to do is nudge the right domino?" Ethan grinned. "Exactly. One well-placed email and the whole thing comes crashing down." Nathan's mind was already working ahead. Emily thought she had traded up, but she had no idea the foundation of her new life was built on sand. She had flaunted her relationship with Ryan, posting pictures of expensive dinners, designer gifts, and exclusive vacations. Each post had been a taunt, a way to remind Nathan that she had moved on, upgraded. But the thing about Emily, she never bothered to look beneath the surface. She assumed wealth meant security. She assumed charm meant integrity. And that assumption was about to cost her everything. Nathan picked up his phone and typed a quick message to CEO of Calloway Enterprises. Subject: urgent misuse of company funds. The email was short, professional, and devastating. Attached were documents proving Ryan's financial misconduct. It would only take one glance for his boss to realize that Ryan wasn't just reckless, he was a liability. He hit send. A second email followed, this one addressed to Ryan's wife. Attached were credit card statements, travel receipts, and a carefully selected collage of Emily's social media posts. The captions alone told a damning story. "Grateful for this amazing getaway with my love. Couldn't ask for a better partner. Spoiled like a queen." And just like that, the cracks would begin to show. Nathan finally picked up his whiskey and took a slow sip. This was only the beginning. The first ripple of chaos arrived just after noon the next day. Nathan was at his gym, mid-set on the bench press, when his phone buzzed on the floor beside him. He let the weight settle back onto the rack, wiped his hands on a towel, and picked up the device. One new message. From Ethan. It's happening. Nathan smirked and clicked the link Ethan had attached. It led to a news site. Callaway Enterprises, under internal review amidst financial misconduct allegations. He scrolled through the article, skimming the details. The company had launched an immediate investigation into Ryan's expenses after receiving an anonymous tip. Though no names had been mentioned yet, the implications were clear. Ryan was in deep trouble, and his downfall had just begun. Nathan could already picture it, Ryan sitting in his sleek glass office, his world beginning to crumble around him as his boss demanded answers. He could imagine the sweat forming on his brow, the panic setting in as he realized the walls were closing in. And Emily? Nathan checked his social media feed, chuckling as he saw her latest post. A photo of herself at brunch, captioned, "New beginnings deserve new luxuries. Cheers to the good life." Arrogance. That was always her weakness. He set his phone down and returned to his workout, letting the storm brew without interference. Hours later, as Nathan sat in his car outside a coffee shop, another notification lit up his screen. This time, from an unfamiliar number. "Unknown, Nathan, I need to talk to you, please. It's important." He stared at the message, his lips curling slightly. He didn't need to ask who it was. Emily. He let the message sit unread for a few minutes before curiosity got the best of him. He tapped out a reply. "Nathan, important? That's interesting. You didn't seem to think I was very important when you packed your bags." The response was almost immediate. "Emily, I made a mistake. Just talk to me, please." A mistake. Now suddenly, she realized it. He could see the pieces falling into place. Ryan had either caught wind of the investigation or had already begun cutting ties with her. The lavish lifestyle she had flaunted was slipping through her fingers. And, like clockwork, she was circling back, hoping to find a soft place to land. Nathan leaned back in his seat, debating whether to answer. He had no intention of taking her back, he wasn't a fool, but the idea of letting her squirm a little longer? Now, that had some appeal. He typed slowly, deliberately. "Nathan, busy right now, maybe later." And then, without another thought, he silenced his phone and walked into the coffee shop. Emily had chosen her path, and now she was going to learn what it felt like when the ground beneath her disappeared. Nathan sat at his desk, watching the storm unfold in real time. His laptop screen displayed an email from Ethan, packed with new updates on Ryan's unraveling life. Callaway Enterprises has suspended Ryan indefinitely. Internal audit findings are worse than expected. It's only a matter of time before the press catches on. Nathan smirked. It was happening even faster than he anticipated. His phone buzzed again. Another message from Emily. "Emily, Nathan, I need to talk to you. You don't understand." Oh, but he did. He understood perfectly. Ryan had likely thrown her to the side the moment his empire started crumbling. He could picture it now. The phone calls he wasn't answering, the doors closing in her face, the lavish dates replaced by deafening silence. Nathan wasn't done yet. He pulled up a secure message board and crafted another anonymous tip. This one for the wives and girlfriends of Ryan's inner circle. He had gathered enough evidence to expose how Ryan had misused company funds, not just for Emily, but for other women too. It wouldn't take long before Ryan wasn't just facing corporate destruction. He'd have an entire line of furious women ready to burn him at the stake. Just as he hit send, his phone rang. "Emily." He let it ring. A second call, then a third. By the fourth, he decided to answer, not because he wanted to help her, but because he wanted to hear the desperation in her voice. He put the call on speaker. "Emily." "Nathan," she exhaled, relief dripping from her tone. "Thank God. Please, I need to see you." "I doubt that," he replied smoothly, leaning back in his chair. "You didn't seem too eager to see me when you left." Her voice wavered. "Things aren't what I thought they'd be." "I imagine not," he said, pretending to sound thoughtful. "You traded stability for an illusion. It's falling apart, isn't it?" She sniffed. "Ryan, he's in trouble. His company is turning on him. He told me I should lay low for a while." Nathan chuckled darkly. "Ah, so that's what this is. He cut you off." Silence. He had hit the mark. Emily's voice was small now. "I just thought maybe we could talk. Please, Nathan. I miss you." He didn't bother holding back his laugh. "You don't miss me, Emily. You miss the security I gave you. But that's gone now. Nathan, please. Her voice cracked, the first sign of genuine fear slipping through. He let a beat of silence stretch between them, then spoke with finality. I don't think so. And with that, he hung up. Emily had always assumed he would be waiting, that no matter what she did, Nathan would be there, ready to catch her when she fell. But this time, there was no safety net. This time, she would crash. Alone. Nathan stood by the window of his high-rise apartment, a glass of whiskey in one hand, watching the city stretch out before him. The sun had long set and the skyline twinkled with 1,000 lights, each one belonging to someone living their own story, their own triumphs, their own downfalls. Tonight, Emily Calloway was experiencing hers. He turned back to his desk, where his laptop screen displayed the chaos he had unleashed. Ryan Calloway's life was in free fall. His financial misdeeds were now public knowledge, splashed across business news sites and social media. Real estate mogul accused of fraud, facing criminal investigation, one headline read. Another, even more brutal, inside the scandal that brought down Ryan Calloway. Betrayal, money, and a mistress. Emily's name wasn't mentioned in the articles yet, but it would be. People were already digging, piecing together the details. Her social media, once filled with luxurious vacations and gifts from Ryan, had gone silent. She hadn't posted in days. A lifetime for someone who thrived on attention. Nathan checked his phone. Another missed call from her, another voicemail left unheard. He knew exactly what she was doing right now. She would be pacing in a hotel room, no longer the penthouse suite Ryan had booked for her, but a much smaller, much cheaper one, the kind of place she had always turned her nose up at. Her credit cards were likely maxed out, the ones Ryan had given her were probably already canceled. He could picture her sitting on the bed, staring at her phone, scrolling through old text, debating whether or not to send another message. Would she beg this time? Would she try to guilt him? It didn't matter. Nathan had already made his decision. Late that night, his phone buzzed again. This time, it was a text. Emily, I'm outside your building. Please just let me in for a minute. Nathan's brow lifted slightly. Desperate enough to come to him now? Interesting. He debated ignoring her. Leaving her standing in the cold would be poetic justice. But something in him wanted to see her face, to look her in the eyes as she realized there was no undoing what she had done. He took the elevator down, the doors opening to reveal Emily standing just outside the glass entrance. Her once flawless appearance was crumbling. Her hair was pulled into a messy bun, her makeup smudged. She was wrapped in an expensive coat, but her expression was anything but composed. When she saw him, her face lit up with relief. She took a step forward. Nathan, He held up a hand. You have 60 seconds. She faltered, clearly not expecting such a cold reception. I know I hurt you, she said quickly, her voice tight with emotion. I know I made mistakes, but... Mistakes? Nathan let out a low chuckle. Emily, a mistake is forgetting an anniversary. A mistake is misplacing your car keys. What you did was a choice. She swallowed hard. I thought I was making the right decision. I thought Ryan... You thought Ryan was your ticket to a better life, Nathan cut in, his tone like steel. And now that it's all fallen apart, you think I'm going to save you? Tears welled in her eyes. Nathan, I don't have anyone else. That's not my problem. Her lip quivered. Please. I don't even have a place to stay. Nathan tilted his head slightly, feigning thought. That's funny. When you left, you told me you needed more. He leaned in, voice lower now, almost amused. So tell me, Emily, is this enough? A single tear slipped down her cheek. I just want to come home. He studied her for a long moment, then reached into his pocket, pulling out his phone. And then, without another word, he tapped the screen. Blocked. Emily gasped. Nathan. He didn't even glance back as he walked away. Behind him, Emily stood frozen, watching the door close between them. She had made her choice, and now she had to live with it.